Okay, looks like we're live. Welcome to Thursday night Stampin' Up! Presentation with CJ Card Creations. My name is Christy Hillock and I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I am located here in Salt Lake City, Utah. So I'm very grateful to you for watching me this evening or on the replay, whichever you happen to be catching. It's been kind of a crazy week. We were out of town for several days and just got back yesterday, and I wasn't even sure I was going to pull it together to get this live done for you, but I managed it, and I'm very excited to share this with you. So I hope that you will enjoy it too. So I have just a few things I want to tell you, and we're going to pretend that I actually know what I'm doing because apparently you can't print black without cyan ink on my printer, so I couldn't print my normal information that I share with you guys. So here we go. Today is hey Janie, thanks for being here. Today's the last day of the Savings and Bloom promotion. So hey mom, 20% off our mini cut and emboss, which you'll see tonight. And then also 20% off several of the bundles of stamps and dies from the annual catalog. So don't miss that. If you don't have one of these minis, they can be a little bit tricky sometimes, but they are so handy. So I definitely recommend it. And let's see what else. My next in-person class is April 18th, and there is a link to sign up for that. And I hope to put out my April class to go coming up in the next week or so. So be watching for that. And yeah, we're gonna call that good. There's a new paper pumpkin that I've talked about, Change is Beautiful. So I would strongly recommend that you get signed up for that before April 10th if you're not already. And I wanted to congratulate Jane Patterson for sharing my video last week. She is going to receive a pack of the Artistry Blooms Adhesive-Backed sequins. Yes, that is what they're called. So congratulations. And if you would like an opportunity to win a prize, then just like and share my videos. And then in the comments of this video, make sure that you write shared so that I know, because sometimes privacy settings don't let me see everyone who shares. So I am going to switch my camera here. And there we have it. I don't know why my scissors are right in the center of everything. All right, so these are the little sequins that I was talking about. And there are, I think, 3 sheets in there. Oh, well, it says there's 200. So that's a lot of sequins. And there's several different colors. And I have used them a ton while they've been a current product. So they are retiring. Don't miss it. The retiring list went live last week. And it will... everything's while supplies last. So definitely don't want to wait. Hey, Aunt Pat, thanks for being here. All right, you guys, this came, yes, just today, actually. I got one in the mail, and there was also one waiting for me yesterday because I signed up for a program, so I actually get 2. But it's beautiful, and I can't show you anything more than this, but hopefully you are inspired by all of the pretty imagery just on that. And then, because I did register for that program, it's what they call On Tour. So it's just a short meeting with other demonstrators for networking and business training. And so I got this lovely little stamp set that is coming in the new catalog. So I can't wait to play with it. It is a photopolymer set, and it's a 2-step stamping. And it has a punch that will go with it. So I think this is going to be a whole lot of fun. So watch for that coming. All right. I don't know if you can hear that, but once I finish, I just throw things like, you know how Jimmy Fallon does with his cue cards or whatever. So yeah, by the end of this, my room is a disaster, but that's okay. So this is what we are going to make tonight. And I just really, the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be focusing on the retiring products because some of them are my absolute favorites, and I am really sad that they are leaving, even if they are going to be replaced by really wonderful things. So Sweet Strawberry is one of those sets. So I'm going to set that off to here. Now this is a fairly simple card, but it does, like I said, show you a lot of the fun product that's retiring and also a few techniques that I wanted to share. So the first thing that I'm going to do is take a Poppy Parade card base, and it is 4 1/4 by 11. And then I just scored it at 5 1/2, just a standard card. This is from the Pattern Party Designer Series paper. It's the hostess set that you can choose to get with your host rewards for any order over $150, or if you have a party where orders total $150 or more. So it has a really fun misty moonlight pattern on the background, which that's a retiring color. But this kind of looked baskety to me. I don't know, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't, but it's what I chose. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this to the back of, or not to the back, but to the front of my card. So we'll just do this right in the center. And there is that. Now we've got 3 different die cuts from the Stitched So Sweetly dies that are retiring. And oh, I hope you will make it and change the colors or do whatever makes you happy and share it with me. So these are the different dies that are in this Stitched So Sweetly. So it's great for layering because they do, they're proportionate. And then these are several different label shapes that are really fun too. And they do stack nicely if you want to do that, or you can just use them individually. So those are here. This one is going to go on the inside, and then this is for the front. And I actually did pop up this layer. So if I can find what I did with those dimensionals. All right. Going to get these all set up here. So there's always kind of some bittersweet goodbyes with the things that retire, and then as soon as the new product gets into my hands, it's like, oh yeah, but this is really, really fun too. So if there is something that you are sad about, just know that you will find something new that you love, or unless you're a business demonstrator like I am, you can just keep using the retired things that you love. And so that's always a nice option. All right, now the one thing that I forgot to grab, I was stamping this earlier and realized that my ink pad is a little bit dry. So instead of taking care of that on my own, I thought you might like to see how I re-ink these. And I'll tell you, I was scared of re-inking for a very long time, which looking back, I'm like, well, I guess, but yeah, it makes things so much better when they're nice and inked up. So first I'm just gonna open my ink pad and bring in my little bottle of Poppy Parade re-inker, and I do just always try to make sure that I would grab the right one, because if I put the wrong color in here, then I could fix it, but it's a real nightmare. So, oh, there we go. I'm going to start with that and see how we do. And then I'm just going to take this lovely plastic spoon, it's very technical, and just rub it all in. Sometimes I do more ink than this. There are times when you want your ink pads to be really juicy, and other times when a little bit dry is actually easier to work with. I'm just hoping for a happy medium with this one today. So I'm just working it in kind of evenly across the pad, and I feel like that looks pretty good. I do not want this red ink all over me, so I'm actually going to clean it just like I would a stamp, or you could also wash it in the sink, but this is right here, so we'll just do that. And we are good to go. So the first thing that I want to do is figure out where my sentiment stamp went. All right, so it's hello there. So ink this up. And then I want this to be just right in the edge here. Hopefully we'll get it nice and straight. That looks so much better than the original. I'll just bring that in so you can see how faint that is in parts. And then this one is just nice and even. So definitely worth doing. All right, set that stamp aside, and now I am going to stamp the inside. So this is a two-step stamp set, and I am going to do kind of the outline of my strawberry, just like that. Now for the inside, earlier I did not stamp off, and you can see there's quite a distinct difference between the colors, even though it's actually the same ink pad. So now we can stack this right on top and bring in my garden green now to do the stem. Isn't it funny? And then once you figure it out a couple of times, it's just like, oh yeah, this is easy, and it makes my life so much better. So this time I'm actually doing the filler stamp first and the outline stamp second. And the reason I'm doing it this way is just to show you that it totally doesn't matter. It is your preference, at least with this stamp set. I think sometimes it actually does make a little bit of a difference, but for this one, you're good to go either way. So now that that's done, we can go ahead and adhere this to the inside of our card. And get this nice and straight and centered in here, hopefully. All right, there is that. Now, what's left is a little bit of stamping and a little bit of using my mini cut and emboss. So we are going to start by punching out some strawberries. So I've cut this down pretty narrow so that it will get mostly just the strawberry and not waste a ton of extra cardstock. You know, you can do whatever makes you happy with that, but I just, you know, keep all of my teeny tiny strips and have a hard time with getting rid of anything. So as you can see, pieces went flying, but fortunately, both of our strawberries are still here. There's that. And then the next thing that I want to do is bring in my strip of garden green, and I'm going to stamp just the outline image this time. And that just gives it a little bit more dimension on the pieces that are punched out. All right, so now we can punch these. And as you'll see, there's a significant halo around it so that you can line it up fairly easily. And it doesn't have to be exact. So there is that. Oh, and you know what? I got too close, so I am actually going to flip this over and restamp it so that I have a nice image to punch out. All right, there is that. Okay, so now because of the way this punch is oriented, I'm just going to trim that down so that I can feed this in. Right about there. If you have done what I have done and made it awkward for yourself to get it into the punch where you want it, you can always add a post-it note to your cardstock to give you kind of a handle. Certainly an option, either way is good. You know, whatever, if you feel like fiddling with it. And for some reason this has locked. So I'm glad I'm done because we'll just deal with that later. Okay, so there are those. Clear away this trash and set that back out of my way. And I'm going to bring in my cute little cut and emboss. So the first thing that I want to do is my embossing with my embossing folder. So for that, you need your 3-plate, a 2-plate, your folder with your cardstock in it. And so for this, I'm using the Greenery folder because someone, when this first came out, realized that that made it look like seeds on your berry. So I just thought that that would be fun to do for the front of the card. So I'm going to line that up in here and then put my 2-plate on top. So you have two 2-plates. And then, seriously, hope that I can make this start. So if you guys were with me last week, you know I had a little bit of trouble getting it going then too, but I promise it actually does go through. It's just a matter of getting everything set up right. Now I'm wondering, I might need this different plate. So we had this discussion last week about everything needing to be lined up versus things needing to be offset. And I do think that it is dependent on your particular machine. They just vary a little bit. But now I've got my plates all lined up. And we'll see. I set the embossing folder back just a touch. Oh, seriously. I am afraid I'm doing a really good job of making you guys think this machine is not awesome. But I promise it works every time I use it when it's not on screen. So just going to move it off screen and see if I can get it to get a better angle. So, incidentally, I mentioned that I was on vacation this week. It was my kids' spring break. There we go. I just had to get it started. So we, along with my sister and her kids, went down to Texas and met my parents in the hill country. Wow, that shot out. And it was lovely. The weather was amazing. We went hiking, we played in the river, we ate good food. I just had such a nice time. And then we came back and I had tired kids and they whined and cried a lot today. So it's, you know, it's always a catch-up day. All right, so now that we've got that done, I am going to bring back in, and I did end up running it with the 4-plate. So now I've got this cute little basket die, and it is from the seasonal basket dies, and I did a class kit to go with this set, I think last July maybe, but I love this basket. It is my absolute favorite out of the whole set. So we are going to cut this out, and you'll notice that my paper is not quite wide enough or tall enough for the die, and that's fine. I didn't want the whole thing because it would just take up a little too much space on my card. So now I am just going to run that through twice to give it a little more cutting opportunity because it is a little more intricate. I'm glad you like this die too. It is really just, I don't know, I can't explain what it is that I love so much about it, but I do really love the imagery. All right, so very technical, throw your die, and it pops right out. Now with this one, some of these pieces will come out just automatically. Some of them I could use my wire brush and get rid of, and I just decided that I liked the look of it you know, you see what it is, but you don't necessarily have all the holes, which makes it a little more uniform in appearance on this particular card. So you'll notice I just trimmed down the corners to make it a little more smooth. And now I am going to put the rest of it together. So I want to do 2 dimensionals on the right hand side of this, and then I'm going to come back in with my tape runner and hit this side of it, the left side, because if you remember, I popped up this panel, and so I want this to sit at the same level as my Poppy Parade panel. So I'm going to get rid of my little dimensional covers and set this on here pretty well offset, and then I just want to make sure that I get it straight. There we go. Make sure all that adhesive sticks. Now the next thing that I want to do is finish building my strawberries. So I am going to bring in my glue dots and just pick one up with each of my stems. And this is basically because it's less likely to get messy and it works well for little things like this. So get that one done. And then we are going to put it together, put the strawberries together with the basket. So I just kind of am setting it out to see where I want to put glue. I don't want the strawberries hanging over the sides of the basket because it just looks weird that way. That's not how they would really do. And then I also want to make sure that I'm not covering up my sentiment. So with that in mind, I am going to bring in my liquid glue, and I think that I am using just about all the basic adhesives on this card. I really try hard to only use Stampin' Up! Product, but our seal tape runner has been out of stock for a while. You know, just all the supply issues everywhere definitely is hitting Stampin' Up! Too. So I finally was at Hobby Lobby today and decided to pick up just one of their store brand tape runners because I really miss it for certain things. So that is why I am using the Knot seal. Okay, so those are there. Now I am going to bring that tape runner back in and just get it all set up to adhere this stack to the card. And then that glue dries clear, so you won't actually really see that once this is done. All right, so line that all up there. And that's it, you guys. We just need to embellish, and we have a quick, simple, beautiful card that we can send to anybody just to brighten their day a little bit and let them know we're thinking about them. So this is from the Playful Pets Ribbon Combo Pack, and it's just black and white twine, and I love it. It's so easy to work with because twine generally is, and the black and white goes nicely with the designer series paper that I chose. So I'm just tying a little bow here, and once I'm happy that the loops are equal, I'll snip it off the bolt and we will be ready to stick that right there. Now I don't love how that is lying, so I'm just going to fiddle with it just a little bit more. Hopefully you guys can all still hear me. It's gone very quiet on your end, so maybe you're all tired like I am. It's funny how we enjoy what we do so much, but it also, having fun is hard. So the routines are very much appreciated, and normal sleep with my own pillows. And I don't think that I cared that much about my pillows when I was in my 20s and maybe even into my 30s, but now I really just like my pillow. So I feel like if that's my only complaint about my vacation, I'm doing pretty well. Now we just need the last of the adhesive-backed sequins here. And if I can find it, my handy iron Benadryl. Oh, I'm sorry, Jamie. That is not fun, but hopefully the infusion went well aside from the Benadryl. All right, so I'm actually using the palette, and I can't remember if these sequins do it, but some of the shiny ones I've noticed when you go to use the putty and pull, they actually separate. There's a film that gives it the color, and then you just have like a clear sequin underneath. So I don't want to experiment with whether or not these sequins do that. So we're just going to use the little spatula. All right, so I decided to go 5 this time. So again, an odd number, but a little bit more than 3 just to dress it up a little extra. So get this 5th one down here, and I still have triangles. Nothing is in a straight line vertically or horizontally. So that's really all that I look at when I'm trying to decide where to position my sequins. So that, my friends, is that. And if you remember, this is what we did for the inside of our card. So we'll just let that be there so you can see it all. And there we have it. So I am so glad that you guys were here with me tonight, and I appreciate you joining me every week. And I would love to see, thank you, Janie. I would love to see your versions of this card over in my CJ Stampers group. If you're not a member over there, please make sure you go and join. We get more of the fun side of things over in that page. So yes, I hope that you have a lovely evening, and I look forward to bringing you something new next week. Have a good one. Thanks again.